Hello and welcome to Warblog. Let's play this. This is Operation Green Sea. Let's get this from Wikipedia. The Operation Green Sea was an amphibious attack on Conakry, the capital of Guinea, by between 350 and 420 Portuguese soldiers and Portuguese-led Guinean fighters in November 1970. The goals of the operation included the overthrow of Ahmed Sakau Tour's government, the capture of the leader of the African Party for the Independence of Guinea and Cape Verde, page C, Amilcar Cabral, so the capture of the leader of the PAIGC, Amilcar Cabral, destruction of the naval and air assets of the PAIGC, page C, and its Guinean supporters, and the rescue of Portuguese prisoners, POWs held in Conakry. The attackers withdrew after rescuing the POWs and destroying some page C ships and Guinea Air Force infrastructure, but failed to capture Amilcar Cabral, leader of the page C guerrillas, or to topple the regime of the Guinean leader Ahmed Sakau Toure. So essentially, I find that quite interesting, really. Trying to overthrow Guinea and to get the leader of the page C. If you follow the previous video, that was for the actual Guinea-Bissau War of Independence. So this took place pretty much at the same time. So there's only one militia unit, so I'm trying to make it sort of fairly easy. It's a first playthrough, so it could be that I've done it wrong, or I don't know how balanced it's going to be. It could be a walkover. It could take a little, functioning a little longer, but they do get some reinforcements. So now the only thing I have sort of forgotten or not done is I didn't put the air assets in because I didn't read that in the list. But I think there's enough objectives here. And I think I have modified the marine movement enough. So where to land? Well, to be quite honest, there isn't really a lot of choice. And that's that. So what does the militia want to do? What can the militia do? Well, I suppose one thing they can do is go into the page C headquarters. Now I'm not sure how much it's going to cost me to land, so I'm just going to land here first, or not, end turn. Now I was going to do naval units, which to be quite honest I might do, because I could put them there. That's pretty much where the port is. You've got a breakwater that comes out almost the whole way of a hex, really. But essentially I assume that you go into Calaum, which is the port. So moving into one of these city hex takes one movement point. So I could probably move there and into there. Yes, okay. And you should have half a movement left, which I can't do anything with. That gives me a little more flexibility, because now I can move straight in and take the power plant. Okay. Now this is a first playthrough, which means I've not played it before. And because of the special nature of the marine action, I don't really know how this is all going to work out. So let's just see what happens here. Do a marine attack. 3-1. Defender retreat. So that worked out pretty good. So he's going to be stuck there, but I should be able to now move him into the Page C headquarters, where they were looking for Amilcar Cabral, but he wasn't there, which is a pain. So not a perfectly smooth landing, but good enough. So be interesting to see, because there are quite a few objectives. I might put the airport in, so I might do the thingies, the boats, and ships and things. This was condemned on the 8th of December. The UN Security Council passed Resolution 290, which condemned Portugal for the invasion of Guinea and called upon Portugal to respect the principles of self-determination and independence with regards to Portuguese Guinea. On the 11th of December 1970, the Organisation of African Unity passed a resolution unanimously condemning the invasion as well. Nigeria and Algeria offered support to Guinea Conakry, and the Soviet Union sent warships to the area, known by NATO as the West Africa Patrol, to prevent further military operations against Tour's regime and against the Page C bases in Guinea. This was one of this raid actually propagated more support from the Soviets and from quite a few other nations, which is quite interesting. It's the Page C turn, and really I've labelled it Page C, but it should really be Guinea, because they're fighting Guinean militia, so that doesn't really matter. There are no Page C units in this game. As I said, this is the first playthrough, so I might adjust things if it's too silly. Okay. Well, to be inconvenient, I'm going to sit in the power plant. Okay, that's the end of that turn. Okay, so moving along the city isn't that difficult. So the objective here is to destroy all the objectives and then to sail away. So I'm having as much fun figuring out whether that's possible as you might imagine. Well, don't know what to do here, so I think I'm just going to try another assault. This could be a very telling event. 1-1. Okay. Well, they're getting beaten up, but that's the sort of problem. I mean, if I can't get these objectives, it's a problem. Well, they're just going to sit there and recover. Defending the power plant. I think they should have gone after the Summer Palace, maybe. Yes, this is bizarre because they're still at sea. I'm not sure how this should actually work. It's an unusual situation. So now they're at 3 and they're at 2 depressions. Well, they're just going to sit there. Aha! This is interesting because I didn't know it would work. Page C headquarters destroyed, and they're in black, sort of grey, indicating that they have been destroyed. Okay, well, I think this time. Didn't want to do that. Well, let's say they did it accidentally. Okay. Well, let's up the ante on this. This could be an important battle. Three to 1, defend a retreat. Okay, well, let's move into the prison camp. End the turn. They're just going to sit there again. So the Sum House is now destroyed, as well as the army post. Depression 3, is that all? Okay, let's see if we can get them. Yeah, a good die roll. So that's them out of the equation. End turn. Well, I'm going to have to settle into another video, so I think this is pretty much going to be a done deal, so I probably will add the airport. I'll switch it over now and be back in a sec. Okay. So it's page C turn, Guinea turn, but there is no Guinea unit, so we'll change the name of it as well. I've added the airbase on the original and added a turn 7 as it happens on turn 6 Guinea reinforcement up here. just to put a bit of pressure on, but I don't think it's really going to change that much. So Portugal. So that's destroyed. Do they need a hand, I wonder? Possibly. Oh. Well, it's the page C turn, but there's no units for them to use. Aha! Look at that. The power plant is destroyed. Everything is destroyed, but it's the page C turn. Here comes the militia. Maybe going through infantry is a bit more expensive for them. I'll have to look that up. Okay, well, I think it's what we call a walk in the park. Well, when you move. It's getting really slow now. I think it's because I watch YouTube in between the videos and it just clunks up all the memory. I'll pause it until, there you go. So I had done it, it's just I hadn't reloaded. There we go. No movement left, but I think I'm going to get away. Well, there we have it. A successful marine operation with the Portuguese. I called them marine commandos to make them different from the marines that they have in the other scenario. These are a lot stronger, clearly. I just put that down to them being better armed. When you do an operation like this, you're not just using regular units, you're probably giving them fancy equipment and a lot of support and using the best that you can get. So I think that justifies the stats a bit. Well, the militia are not going to do anything now, so that's pretty much it. Now, I've been looking forward to do this for a while, for the last couple of days, just because it seems like such an interesting scenario. Probably 3 or 4 days actually, since I've been reading about it. I haven't read too much about it, but it just struck me as being quite an interesting one. I like the coups. Yeah, you're too late. They've gone. So I'll just finish off with the Portuguese. Now they were trying to. Now I don't know where these units actually, these locations actually are. For example, I looked all over for the power plant. I assumed it would be down here because it's a little more industrial. So the ports are down here. The page C HQ, I didn't know where that was, so I assumed it's down here. It could be over here. The interesting thing about this is that it really is quite a large city. Each one of these hexes is about 2 miles across, and so this city really is a good few miles wide, unless the Google scale is just completely off. So it's a strange city, and what makes it even stranger is that this is all swamp. I mean, it's not sort of graded. It's not as though it's city and then, you know, some rough land and all of that. I mean, it really is swamp. Very rivery, as you can see. I mean, you wouldn't really want to move through any of that. Yeah, the computer's gone on the go slow now. It is. I'm pretty sure, certainly, it is my computer, because as soon as I get a heavy load, everything starts really slowing down. Plus, it's pretty hot. I've got it on the stilts to try and take it off the table, cool it down a bit, but yeah, it's just connecting now. It doesn't matter because it's done. So that's that. I won't spend too much more time talking about it. But as I said, I don't know where all these objectives actually literally are. The only thing I do have a fair idea of is Camp Bioro, which was the prison where the prisoners of war, prison POWs were held. Now I think it was actually more with Ratoma, but because Ratoma is actually a sort of, you know, a place, I have actually, instead of replacing it with that, I've put them both on there, so there's 2 points of reference. But Camp Bioro is probably a little more in this Ratuma area. So that's the only objective I do know. Everything else is really just sort of put in here. I didn't want to put too much deep in here because I didn't know how long it would take to get in there. Oh look, if you play Warblog, you'll see that quite a lot. So that is actually the server playing silly buggers. But not to worry. It is actually just a cheap ass reseller account with 200 or 300 other websites on it, none of which are mine. And I don't know how power hungry this thing is. I don't think it is too much. I mean, it doesn't do a lot of processing for the actual moves, but processing the map I think is quite CPU hungry. But I don't think it's really. It goes back up again. It does that quite a lot. Maybe it just sort of rebooted. I don't think my site's doing it, but when it's on a reseller, you really get limits to what you can and can't do. So that's working fine now. You know, if you were to actually look at the specs, I'd probably have less than a very basic server. But until I get a large customer base or even a customer base, I'm not going to be doing anything like that. So that's that. That's Operation Green Sea. I like these little ones. I hope you like it. I haven't tried to tweak it so that it's too competitive, but it is a little more challenging because you've got an extra air base and there is a extra militia unit coming on 3 turns earlier. So it will be just a tad harder, but I've not made it so that it's necessarily competitive because this is what happened. They went in there, they had a fight with the militia, they didn't really have to struggle too much, the militia were easy to beat. They achieved all their objectives for what they could do. The leader of the page C was not there, and they were unable to cause a coup. The only thing I will add is that as a result of this, about 30 people were executed. A bit like Turkey today. I mean, not exactly like Turkey, but there were repercussions. This wasn't just a Portuguese military operation. I think essentially there's some idea that there were Guinea members of there were Guinea citizens, Guinean nationals that were possibly involved. And if you read the Wikipedia, I can't see it to hand, so I'm not going to bother trying to find it and read it. But if you read the Wikipedia, you realise a lot of people were tried in absentee. There were a lot of people that were sentenced and then let go and then mysteriously vanished. A lot of people executed outside of the legal system, even after the law. So there was actually quite a lot more to this. I don't really know what. So presumably the Portuguese had some sort of communication with elements on the ground that would, in theory, back the coup up. Yeah, so interesting stuff. As I said, you can play it yourself, and I hope you enjoyed that. Speak to you later.